Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. In this video, we're going to show you how to change out the GE Refrigerator Inverter Board. It's going to be a very easy repair and it should only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get the instructions, the jumper wires, and the new inverter board. The inverter board controls the compressor. The main reason to be changing it out is if it's failed and the compressor's not running and the unit's not getting cold. In order to change the part, we're going to go around to the back of the refrigerator. Now that we're on back, we're going to use our 5/16 nut driver to take off all the screws that hold the access cover on. Once you have all the screws out, you can lift the cover off and set it aside. Now that we have the cover off, we have access to the inverter board. It's mounted over here on the left-hand side on the compressor. In order to get to it, we're going to take the water valve and take it off and move it out of the way. We're going to use that 1/4-inch nut driver to take out the screw that holds the valve to the cabinet. Once you have the screw out, you're going to lift up on the valve a little bit and unhook it, and then carefully pull it out. And you want to pull too hard on it. You just want to kind of slide it out of the way so we can open up this area so we can get the inverter board out. Once you have the valve out of the way, we have to carefully pull all these wires out. You want to be careful of this copper line right here. We're just going to carefully get these out, and we have to disconnect the wires that go to the inverter. Out of all these wires, we're only going to disconnect 2 wire harnesses. The orange and black one, which just has a couple locking tabs that you have to push and then separate. And then up inside you have the red and the white one that doesn't have a locking tab on it. You can just carefully pull it apart. Once you have that wire harness disconnected, we can take off the ground wire. You have to look at the inverter and find the ground wire that comes out of it, and then follow it up to the ground point. And we're going to use our 1/4-inch nut driver to take out the screw. There's 3 other ground wires attached to this ground point, so we don't lose them. We're just going to put the screw back through them and thread it into the cabinet once or twice so they all stay together. Once you have the ground wire separated, we can take the Phillips screwdriver and take out the screw that holds the inverter board to the compressor. It's located right down here on the bottom of the inverter. Just going to carefully reach in, take it out. Once you have the screw out, you can reach in and lift the inverter board off the compressor. You just have to lift up on it a little bit and then pull it away. Once you have it off the compressor, we're going to have to take off the wire harness that plugs onto the compressor. We're going to reach in with a flathead screwdriver and pop that off the mounting pins. Just carefully pry it off. You don't want to damage anything. Once you have it free, we can pull the inverter board out. We're going to move these wire harnesses out of the way, make some room, and carefully pull it out. Once you have it free, you can pull it out of the refrigerator. Here's the old inverter board next to the new one. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. Looks like they redesigned it, so we're going to have to use one of the wiring harness adapters to make it fit into the refrigerator. First thing we're going to do is take the rubber band off the new one, and then look at these 2 wires. If yours are the same, you don't have to use a jumper wire. Ours are different, so we're going to compare the 2 jumper wires with our old board and match it up. So this will fit on our wiring harness on the refrigerator. And then we can plug the adapter onto the new inverter board. Once you have your adapter installed, we can put the inverter board into the refrigerator. To put the new inverter board in, we're just going to carefully lift the wires up again and feed it back into the corner here. And before we lift it up onto the compressor, it's going to be a little bit tight. We have to plug this wire harness back onto the compressor. So we're just gonna keep the inverter away a little bit, pull that harness out, and plug it on. Once you have it plugged all the way on, we can carefully lift the inverter board up, and we have to mount it on this lip right here on the compressor. You want to make sure that the little wiring harness for the compressor plug goes into the inverter board. You can push it on and set it down. Once you have it on to the compressor, we're going to use the Phillips screwdriver to put the screw in at the bottom to hold it on. Once you have the screw tightened down, we can attach the wiring harnesses. To plug in the first one, we're going to lift the wire harnesses out of the way and grab the red and white wires and plug it into the refrigerator. These can only go on one way, so you can't mix them up. Once you have that one together, we can do the orange and the black one. Just going to grab the wire off the inverter and then grab the harness and plug this in. Same thing, it can only go one way, so just plug it in, make sure it gets a good connection. Once you have the wires together, we're going to grab the ground wire and just kind of feed it back up. We're going to use the 1/4-inch nut driver to take off the screw that's holding all the ground wires on. And if you want, you can just pull it off all as one piece and kind of hold it while we put the last one on. We can screw it back into the frame. Once you have the ground screw tightened down, we're just going to carefully lift all these wires back behind everything and get them out of the way. Want to make sure they don't hit on anything. Then we can swing the water valve back into place. And we have to hook this hook right on the hole in the frame. Once you have the water valve in place, we can use a 1/4-inch nut driver to put the screw back in. Now that we have the part installed, we can put the access cover back on. To put the access cover on, we just have to line it up, and then we can use the 5/16" nut driver to put the screws back in. Now that we have the access cover installed, we can plug the refrigerator back in and make sure it starts to cool. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.